If you go to the tags on the Ready or Not Steam page, you will see the following: tactical, realistic, FPS, shooter, multiplayer. I personally think that it's missing one, and that would be horror. Yes, this tactical FPS shooter multiplayer is also the stuff of nightmares. If you just rolled your eyes at that, just hear me out for a second, right? How many FPS games have you played where you go in to get your suspect and he uninstalls himself right in front of your eyes over the fear of what he might be caught doing? I don't know, I don't think Master Chief ever had to deal with anything like that, did he?
Suicide.
Now, I'm not a horror scholar, obviously. I can only tell you how something made me feel. And this game made me feel the emotions and feelings that are strongly associated with horror more than any horror game has in recent years. And it did so by being this weird, uncanny representation of a world that we live in. Ready or Not doesn't use spooky ghouls or unimaginable creatures to get you scared. No, it uses real-life horror, like homelessness, income inequality, missing the bin collections, people who like kids far too much, secret societies, human traffickers, and the worst of all, furries. The first quote-unquote horror film that I ever watched was The House of Wax. You know, I was a little kid and me and all my cousins gathered around as this older family friend brought this DVD in. And I specifically remember the feeling in my tummy. I'd never fucking seen a horror film before. I didn't know what I was about to witness. But if you've ever seen The House of Wax, you'll know it's more of a comedy film because it's shite. Ready or Not was like that for me because it was a complete reverse of expectations. But like the opposite way because like it turned out to be good. And then also Paris Hilton never took a pipe to the face. Probably wasn't the last one though, was it? Ready or Not is a game where you bring order to chaos. Remember this, it's important. The game takes place in a universe where everything's just fucked. You know, it's like our society if they stopped selling cans of White Monster. And I'll be honest, I brushed Ready or Not off as like a mid-indie FPS shooter when I first played it. I was jumping on each night and just playing it for a few hours to blow off some steam, you know, jumping in, shooting the bad guys, completing my mission, trying to get a good score, and that was that. But then my whole life got flipped, turned upside down, because I got a new graphics card. It's not a flex, it's part of the story, I swear. I basically wanted to see how games ran and played on my new shiny graphics card and seeing if it looked any better. So I opened up Ready or Not and I turned all the settings to like ultra and I saw very slight differences in detail. Yeah, it was worth every goddamn penny. And then I played the first mission, but now I was paying attention, you know, and the dead dog's there and I didn't realise that the guy who's there, that's the owner of the dog, so him and his dog got shot together and I thought, oh, that's dark. And then I came across the store manager. Now obviously I've seen this before because you can't miss that. He's got no face. But I never noticed the phone on the ground that's buzzing, and if you look at it, I'm presuming it's his wife trying to get a hold of him. He's not here, he's gone bye-bye. And ooh, that's rough. Now, usually when I would play like a horror game and something horrific would happen, I go, oh, and then I go, ah, it's not real, and I go back to like playing a game. I didn't have that here, I just thought, fuck. Imagine losing your face in a petrol station. That's some horror right there. So this made me want to restart the game and play it from the start, but actually pay attention in the missions and see what I can pick up. And doing that made me realise that this game is unironically nightmare fuel. Now, the sentiment that Ready or Not is a horror game is not exactly far-fetched. You know, the community make jokes about how scary the game is. There's YouTubers on this site who have made videos that are probably far better at explaining this point than I am. And then there's a subreddit, which you find posts like this. What am I looking at? So, in Ready or Not, you're part of a 5-man SWAT team who's going into these situations and trying to get everyone just to calm the fuck down. Each mission starts with a brief of the situation, you're given objectives to complete, you can listen to the harrowing 911 calls if you really want to ruin your day. And the gameplay of Ready or Not I would describe as having horror mechanics. You move super slowly, there's no sprinting, decisions have to be thought about because bullets do real damage. If you get into a firefight, you better dial the fuck in. Getting one-tapped in this game is the ultimate jump scare, and every time it happens I still jump. Yeah, death comes quick. Just like me. The sound design is generally just unpleasant, like calm down. Every map has these little details in the level that make the world feel grounded and realistic. And the game's story is very subtle, it's kind of told through little environmental storytelling moments in each mission that will link to other missions. You know, it's kind of like lore, kind of like Dark Souls. Okay, it's nothing like Dark Souls, you know. Oh, I found a helmet in a field and I read the description and Melania is actually my mum. But essentially in missions you can find like emails or messages or little like hints to other companies that are in the game and it all kind of links and you can follow the trail. It's not just being told to you. And then there's also the details that will just ruin your day. Of all the bloody days he was retiring today. Like this one that was patched out of the game. At one point, if you came into this bedroom with this little girl ODing, you could find a used Johnny on the floor next to the bed. Remember when games were fun? Or right now, this is a green screen that I'm sat in front of that's used to take pictures of kids. I'm not going to explain further what that's for. You can use your imagination, you know? Remember when games were fun? The game also becomes just a straight up horror game when you think you've cleared a mission and it turns out there's like one guy left in the whole mission. You know, have you ever had to play hide and seek with a man with a gun who wants to shoot you in the face? That's scary. Hell, even the police HQ is haunting. This is meant to be like your safe space, your hub, and it's terrifying. It might be one of the scariest parts in the game for me. Why is it so eerie? Why is it so weird? Everyone just stands there motionless. What's wrong with you? It's always completely empty. Like, I get budget cuts and that, but guys, where the fuck is everyone? I just feel unsafe, okay? And if that makes me a pussy, guilty. Playing this game gave me a similar level of tension and fear as I remember when I'd play Amnesia when I was younger. You know, that same dread of like slowly moving around trying to think like, oh, what's in this room, what's around the corner, I don't know. But instead of like a freaky wee guy coming to get me, it's like a Twitch streamer who touches kids. So pretty much all of them at this point. It's not difficult to not do that. Just stop doing it. There's also this really fun mechanic in the game where your team members can die. That's good. And when they die, they don't come back. They're dead. And then also, if they don't die, you can also like overwhelm them if you like send them into a room and they get shot at because of your bad leadership. Like they can quit or like they can be sent home from like emotional distress. I didn't realise I was working with a bunch of snowflakes, to be honest. Nah, I'm just joking. But if one of them tells me one more time that I'm in the road, I'm gonna fucking... It's on site.
You gonna move?
Wait, what? Yeah, fuck off. Oh, come on. Guys, it was a joke. It was just a little joke for the video. Come on. Come on. I think this is cool because I know it's just like, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. You just hire new people. But there's like this weird hesitation when I make a decision like, oh shit, these guys are actually going to die, you know? And it's my fault most of the time. I don't like that. Sending them in as bullet fodder is not a good idea.
Taking it down.
I didn't fucking know they could do that. So maybe about like a month ago or so, I played Silent Hill 2 for the first time in my life. I know, where have I been? And it was amazing, what an experience. I felt nostalgic over a game I never played. I was seeing all these moments that I'd only heard about play out in real time. I finally got to experience one of the most beloved and defining psychological horror games ever made. But I never felt scared, I never felt fear. I felt like I was gaming. And like, yeah, I could look at the environments and go, this is really spooky, but it was more cool than scary to me. In fact, the only part of the game that actually scared me was at first I thought I couldn't turn off the tank controls. Oh no! And I think the reason that it didn't really scare me is because I couldn't fully relate to anything happening. Like, I'm never going to be stuck inside a haunted town looking for my maybe dead, maybe not dead wife. Because my wife was hit by her 2001 Nissan Micra, and she's definitely dead. They turned her to paste. Like, Pyramid Head is never going to chase me and do whatever the fuck this is to me. Because, you know, real. You know, I can distance myself from what's going on because I know it's fake. But me minding my own business at the wrong place, wrong time, and getting killed, that could happen. And that's scary. And instead of dropping me in a fictional horror setting that I know all too well, Ready or Not drops me in like an uncanny representation of real life situations that will scar people forever. That sounds like a fun game. We should make a game of that. That sounds great. Ready or Not also does a great job of giving context to the enemies that you fight, be it terrorists that are seeking revenge to America for what they did to them, or there's veterans that feel like they've been neglected by the system and this is them pushing back. It all feels fairly plausible. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, or the elephant in the mission list. There's a mission called Elephant, that's the joke. This mission, you are sent in to bring order to an active shooting in a college campus. Yeah, does that feel uncomfortable? Yep, it should do. So here I am, playing a game to have fun, but I'm role-playing what must be one of the most life-changing and mind-altering moments in someone's life that will forever scar them, and when I beat the mission, I'll unlock a cool new pair of gloves. The fuck? And the game's not exactly been subtle here, like the mission is called Elephant, which people think is based on the film of the same name that is about a school shooting that is heavily influenced by the Columbine shooting. This is why I find people that say this game is copaganda really funny, because playing this game and going, I want to be a cop, would be like me watching Titanic and being like, I better book that cruise. And I'm not saying that like a horror game has to be based on like tangible real life events to be scary, but this game just makes me feel unnerved knowing that these situations in the game that make me feel uncomfortable are real and happen far too often. But the game does also have like more set piecey missions that make you go, oh, this is a video game, which I love. You know, like the crazy ex-cop who's bunkered himself away in his house, or the king of noncery who makes weird creepy collages in his nonce basement. Like the stuff's all a bit much. much. Like, guards, leave the basement. I need to create my masterpiece. Right, sure. I'm glad that we have these missions that are more of a spectacle and they make me go, oh, I'm playing a video game, instead of me being like, oh, I've been to a nightclub before and, oh, fuck. Neon Tomb. Obviously I was going to talk about this mission. In Neon Tomb, you arrive at the scene of a mass shooting that's just happened at a nightclub. And throughout the mission, all you hear is the loud booming music from the club left over, and this constant humming and buzzing that you then realise are hundreds of phones scattered about the map of people who have been shot and their loved ones trying to contact them, not knowing that they're not there anymore. Oh, it's a battle, it's a real laugh. How do I even talk about this? Like, this mission was like a weird sensory overload for me, because I'm playing this game and I'm trying to have fun and do my objectives, but then I constantly am hearing phones buzzing and I'm like, oh, and then like I'd see shit like this and I'm like, remember when games were fun? I've really been trying to dig deep and work out why this game hits me so hard, because like I've played games where like I've chainsawed people's heads off, I've done gnarly shit and felt nothing, and I think it's because this game does such a great job of making the environments feel real and lived in. I don't need the game to tell me someone's specific backstory for me to feel bad that they've died. I just need to see little things like this that tell me people work here, people lived in this, people have existed here before I came, like a heart on a phone contact that I'm probably not even meant to notice. That'll do it for me. And it's these little touches that make the NPCs not just feel like NPCs, it makes me feel like, oh, this is people with lives. And then if we're talking personally, I think I have a weird fear of being like a bystander and having no control in my life. Like, I worry things would happen and I actually have no autonomy over the situation, because let's be honest, situations like this, they aren't really far-fetched at this point. And then I also have dumb fears like, what if I die and I'm wearing like a really shitty outfit and the paramedics are like, no drip anyway. And then I have a stupid one where I'm like, what if I'm driving my car and I'm listening to like a guilty pleasure album or something that I think is a bit cringe, but I'm listening to it, and I was to die in a horrible car crash, but the music keeps playing, and then the paramedics find me and they go, oh, you really loved 21 Pilots. I think that might be an irrational one. Anyway, this mission, unnerving. It felt like googling pictures of spiders. Like, oh, it just felt like it was on me. Get them all. And what makes it worse is like, what was your plan, guys? You just shoot up this club and then you just all wander around aimlessly in different rooms? That's it, really? Like, you killed Deadmau5. Sorry, Live Rat. Get it? Because Deadmau5, Live Rat. Fuck off. Into the Earth is a mission that kind of blew me away when I first played it. It's a raid on a house where the occupants are legally modifying guns to sell in the black market. They're a Vietnamese family who have moved to the States in hopes to find a better life for their children. But then the mother gets cancer, and with no other way to pay for bills, the kids turn to illegal work. And this was a standout mission for me because it blurred that line. You know, I'll shoot a PDF file or a human trafficker any day of the week, just put them in front of me and I'll... And I know these kids are criminals and what they're doing is wrong, but I feel bad for going in and arresting them and ruining the rest of their life, or even worse, killing them. They're just doing what they see as their only option, and they're willing to go to literally the ends of the earth for them. And then the mission's on a beach, so it's like at the end of the earth. Whoever came up with the mission title, I hope you pumped your wife that night. It's rare that a game will make me empathise so much with the enemies of a game. You know, it's not just good or bad. This is my job, to come in and stop you, even if I myself feel conflicted over the situation. And I think because the mission's not some grandiose, like I'm stopping some secret society's like human trafficking ring, it's just a family home, and the actions of every single person involved in this situation is going to forever change their lives. I kind of just wish the AI was tweaked a bit and that everyone just surrendered the moment you came in the house. I know that wouldn't be very fun and replaying it would be a chore, but I feel it would be so impactful in the middle of all these other missions where everyone's shooting and it's all over the top, to have this one mission where a family just cowers at your presence because you're the real monster. And it also does feel a bit silly that these kids are like, yeah, we're going to take on a fully fledged SWAT team. Like, good plan, guys. Maybe we should have stayed in school. It's also funny that it is the one mission where you feel kind of confident. Like, you do feel like the monster, you know. But no, we're not the monster. The real monster is capitalist. Now, if you do Google the definition of horror, it says an intense feeling of fear, shock, or disgust. And for me personally, what is classed as a horror game nowadays is usually just bad lighting and jump scares. And I don't recall ever playing any game or watching any form of media that made me feel the same way that this game has made me feel. And I find it really cool that a game that is not specifically trying to be a horror game manages to, just through environmental storytelling and its tense gameplay, make me feel feelings of fear naturally. And it's also rare that I play a game that I would think is a horror and actually have fun. You know, this game's a blast until you're right at the end of a mission and you open that one door a bit too hastily and then I'm never playing this piece of shit again, okay? So like, is Radio not a horror game? No and yes. What I'm trying to say is, like, if I can call this channel a comedy channel and the House of Wax can call itself a horror film, then yes, this tactical realistic FPS shooter multiplayer game I'm also going to call a horror. Thank you very much for watching my video.